Okay, I hope the focus is correct now. Made an 18-minute long video just to find out that the focus wasn't working. I'm just gonna make sure one more time. Alright, okay. So, hello everyone, welcome to the lecture for thesis statements and it's actually hard. So, welcome to thesis statements and introductions. So last time we talked about just how to write an introduction. We said never mind this because we're gonna get back to it. It's a disaster. Last time we said that introduction consists of 2 to 3 things: background, transitioning. This is very optional, but I very recommend you have it. Background information, transition, and your thesis statement. So I have here 2 examples, one of an A+ introduction and thesis statement, or one with another example with introduction and thesis statement, or supposedly. And it contains a lot of common mistakes, which I'm going to go through with you. So let's just start with it, okay? But what I want to say is, I'm going to read, and as I read, I'm going to explain, okay? So this essay's question is, do you agree or disagree that time management is beneficial to KFUPM students, okay? So as I mentioned in the previous lecture, that you should always go general information. I'm using the same introduction, by the way. I just changed a little bit in the end, but I'll get to why I'm using this again. Okay, so success does not come easy. General. It takes hard work, perseverance, and most importantly, time management. I'm narrowing it down. Every successful person has a specific time set for everything, and that is what separates them from others. Again, narrowing it down. Similarly, successful students at KFUPM also manage their time efficiently. This is basically the transition. This is how I am not transition actually. This is the connecting. I'm connecting the background information to my immediate topic, and this is my thesis statement. Now, how should you write a thesis statement? This method is the easiest way to do it, and it's 100%, like there's no errors in it. This is an A+, or actually an A, but depending on the essay maybe, or depending on the corrector, this is either an A or an A+ thesis statement. So far, this has been an A+ for me. Okay, so you should always say this essay. You should in a thesis statement, you should be very direct with your opinion. Do you agree or do you disagree? And you should show that to the reader, so that when he reads or when they read your thesis statement, they know exactly what you think and what are the points that you're going to talk about. Because that is exactly what your essay is. You know, sometimes when people read essays or looking for something, they do something just to get the idea of what they want from the essay. They can conclude the essay without reading the whole thing, which is basically they just read the thesis statement and the conclusion, because the thesis statement and conclusion should include everything, but not in great detail. It should include everything generally. They should know what you're going to talk about and what are your subpoints through the thesis statement and conclusion. I will get to the conclusion later. But for the thesis statement, you should be direct with your opinion. You should say, or using this method. And oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention, we're talking about opinionated essays, where you have to give your opinion, not an argumentative essay. Argumentative essays are a different type of essays that we're going to talk about maybe in a different video. But for now, I want you to focus on how to do a direct essay. opinionated essay. So, let's see. This is the method. You say this essay strongly supports or disagrees with, because you want to make sure that they know where you stand in this question. Are you with or against? So this essay strongly supports or strongly disagrees with. And then you state the opinion on the question, okay? And after you state the opinion on the question, you say, I do this, yada, 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 for 2 or 3 main reasons, depending on how many body parts you're going to use. I just want to make sure that the focus is correct so that this doesn't go to the trash. Yes, it's working. So, 2 main reasons, and then you state your reasons. Very easy. This essay strongly supports, or this essay strongly disagrees with, and you state your opinion on the question. And then you say for 2 main reasons, and then you state 2 reasons. Very, very textbook definition, example, whatever you want to call it on thesis statement. This is an A+, or an A, depending on. But I never got an A for it. I always got an A+ for this type of thesis statement. And if you're a beginner, this should be very, very helpful. This is my go-to. Most of the time, I use this, 99% of the time. So in this introduction, we've reached my thesis statement. So let's see how I did it. I said this essay, exactly, typical. This essay zealously supports. Zealously just means to the highest extent, okay? Just absolutely. So it's strongly, but a very, or highly academic word, maybe, I don't know. So choose whichever you like to. I chose zealously because I feel like it's very strong. I absolutely agree with what I'm saying, and there is no doubt about it. So zealously, I zealously, or this essay zealously supports. Okay, don't say I in an essay because that's completely wrong. In this type of essays, say this essay zealously supports that time management is beneficial to KVPM students. That's exactly my opinion on the question. The question is, do you agree or disagree? That time management is beneficial to KVPM students. And I'm saying that this essay zealously supports that time management is beneficial to KVPM students. For 2 main reasons, I said for 2 main reasons. And I stated my reasons. Helping the students accomplish their tasks efficiently, comma, and supporting their mental health. And that's an A+. This is absolutely an A+. That doesn't look like an A+, but it's an A+ introduction. Now I'm going to go ahead and talk about this other example. I'm going to read it first, and then we're going to talk about the issues it has. And it has many of the common mistakes. So we're going to go through them one by one. The question for this essay is, do you agree or disagree that animals should be kept in zoos? And here it goes. Humans use several ways to entertain themselves, such as reading books, playing games, or watching animals in the zoo. The last example has a strong impact on a person's mood, since it can make him laugh, raise his self-esteem, especially with wild animals. Unfortunately, it doesn't affect the animal behind the cage in the same way. Okay, what do we notice here? What we notice is we don't know exactly what your opinion is. Okay, you're talking about the animals don't feel the same way, but you still haven't stated your opinion. So basically, this essay has no thesis. I wrote the thesis wrong. This has no thesis. There is no thesis statement in this introduction. And let's talk about the other issues in this example. Okay. Okay, what I really liked about this, I'm not only going to talk about the issue, we're going to thoroughly explain this or talk about the example. So it starts off with humans use several ways to entertain themselves, such as reading books, playing games, or watching animals in the zoos. So this starts off general, very broad, and then it narrows down to the question. It used a similar technique to what I used, which was, look, in the beginning I said success does not come easy. It was very broad, and then I said it takes hard work, perseverance, and most importantly, time management. I gave 3 examples on the general topic, and the last example that I used is what I'm going to talk about thoroughly. I said thoroughly. Okay, it's what I'm going to narrow it down to. So, time management here, watching animals in the zoo. Good use of what I was doing, basically. If you do this is perfectly fine, and it makes your essay easier. So you can keep this technique in your head. Go general, give 3 examples. Make your last example is what you want to narrow it down into. It's a good method, it's a good technique. So, good job. The last example has a strong impact on a person's mood since it can make him laugh. Okay, why is him a mistake? Quite simply because it's sexist. And I'm not even joking about this. This is called a sexist word, maybe. Because you either use him/her or use them. And I highly recommend you use them because it's just easier. So don't say him, her. Look, here I said every successful person has a specific time set for everything, and that is what separates them from others. It's not him or her, it's them. Him/her though works, but him or her does not work. What I mean is, you write him or you write her, not him or her. Anyway, I'm not gonna confuse you with this. Just use them. Use them. I'm not gonna confuse you with this. With this. Nice. Okay, so let's continue. Raise his self-esteem. Also, it should be their self-esteem. Especially with wild animals. Okay, so I had a circle around this because I got stuck. I couldn't understand what do you mean by this statement. Although later on I had to go back and see, okay, this is what you mean. I'm not sure if this is my own lack of skills or to understand what you mean, but you should always. So I'm not going to say that this is wrong. I'm just going to say that you should always make your essay smooth so that when someone reads it, they don't get stuck when they're reading it. Everything should be smooth and clear. Sometimes students think that they should go all complex in their sentences, and that's really not necessary. You just have to be clear and simple, and you'll just get that A+ simple. Anyway. So, let's continue. Wild animals. Unfortunately, it doesn't affect the animal behind the cage in the same way. This is all background information. And I would say this last sentence is just the transitioning or the connecting sentence to the thesis statement. However, there isn't one. So let's write one ourselves. Let's go with the exact thing that I was saying. So we're going to say, let me just... Alright, so what we're going to say is this essay. We're going to use the exact same thing. Alright, so we're going to start from here. This essay. Okay? So do we strongly support or we strongly disagree with? Here we're disagreeing with keeping animals in zoos. So this essay strongly agrees with that's a capital K with am I typing it, writing in capitals? I don't know. this essay strongly disagrees with keeping animals in zoos. And then what do we say? We say we stated our opinion on the question. Then we go for two main reasons, and this is a comma, by the way. Let's put a comma. For two main, oh my god, reasons. And then you state your reasons, which are, let's say, for example, that they're harmful for the animals, and secondly, it disturbs the nature balance. So this is basically how you should write your thesis statement and your introduction. So a quick summary of what I was saying: use this example. This essay strongly supports or disagrees with, and then state your opinion on the question for two main reasons, and just put down your reasons or your reasonings. That's basically how you should write your thesis. And in your introduction, how to know if you have written a thesis, assuming that this is not here and you didn't know about it. You should, how to know you have a thesis is that when you see an answer to the question, when you see an answer to the question and you see two reasons given, that's the thesis statement. Here, there was no thesis statement. So good luck, guys, and hopefully in the next lecture we're going to talk about topic sentences, and maybe we're going to talk about conclusions as well. So we'll see you in the next one. Peace.